So also the accountability of the parents. You see in the United States many parents donating their time to the school. Okay, so they come forward and they offer their time for the school system. So in Brazil, you don't see that happen because the parents think that when this student goes to school, the school becomes the parent. So they wash their hands and they say, okay, the school is taking care of them, it's feeding them, and I don't need to be responsible for it. So you don't see people in Brazil donating their time for the school to help the teachers to teach the students. Okay, this is mostly true for the public system. Of course, private schools are really well equipped and they perform well, they cover a lot of ground, and they really address all the weaknesses of the public system in Brazil. So you will notice that in Brazil the school system is different. For instance, the public system is weak from the K-12, but the higher education, the universities, the public universities, are really strong. So differently than here, to go to a very good college or a good university, you need to pay a lot of money. So in Brazil, it's the exact opposite. If you study a lot and you have a good performance on a national exam, you earn your seat in a top-notch university that goes in your language, right? That everything spoken in Portuguese. For instance, in my case, the course that I did was physics of public school. It's called University of São Paulo, one of the best schools. It's similar than Harvard in the United States. But all the books were written in English. So I learned English from the undergraduate time, and also free. So the university, the best schools in Brazil are free, so you don't pay anything, different than here, than the cost of a house. So we have a lot of differences, but the common parts are that the students they learn fast. So the English language, the ELL students, they are going to learn English a lot faster than the adults. But if you approach them gently, let's say, right? So you don't expect them that they understand when they shake their hand, say that they understand. They are not understanding. Okay, you need to be sensitive to that, and they will respond if you try to connect with them. Okay, use simple phrases, be patient with them, try to engage the parents. Sometimes the parents, they don't have a documentation. That's why they don't come to school. All right. So there are these, legal issue also, and because of that, many students that I know of, friends of my family, young adults, they are teenagers, they finish high school and they have no way to attend college because they don't have the documents with them, the social security or American citizenship. They don't have that. They cannot even enroll in a school in America. So, and if they go back to Brazil, they are not competitive there because their Portuguese is not as strong anymore. So they get into a limbo of staying in America and working in Dunkin' Donuts, for instance. Even though the student is very, very bright, a lot capable of performing everything they want, but the system, the legal system, creates limitations. And if they go back to Brazil, the Brazilian students are far ahead of them in terms of education. So it's quite sensitive, the current time for teenagers in America. And one sad story is that one of the students that I knew personally. I actually tutored him for a while. He after, I don't know, 8 years or so, he was 18 years old. He got into trouble with the law, and he didn't see any hope for him. He ended up killing himself in a Marlboro courthouse near there. So we went to the funeral. So you invest in a kid's life, you are friends of them, you educate them, and then tragic reality sometimes happen like that. And this is really sad. So, but we really need to be careful with the foreigner students when their English is not their first language, to approach them carefully, okay? Okay, there is one little story that I want to share, that when I came here in 2000 in the United States, and today is July 14th, 2012, okay, so 12 years ago. So I didn't know about cultural differences, okay? I was even surprised that I could read Spanish words inside of a bus, right? That I didn't have a car for a couple of years. So, but the very first cultural shock that I noted, that I learned, was going to a lake party from my boss at chemistry department at Clark University, Alan Jones, Professor Alan Jones. So he invited all the faculty members and the students. It was like 100 people in his house on a lake in Webster, Massachusetts. So I was leaving to go to the party, taking a ride with Eric, my friend, and once I shut the door of the truck, before he started, he turned to me and said, "Marcus, you are not one of those guys who wear Speedos, are you?" So quickly, I thought, okay, Ariel, wait a minute, that I need to go to my room. I forgot something. I didn't forget anything. So I went down there, took my Speedo out of my bag, put the other shorts, longer shorts, back in, and went to the party, right? So that time, that friend of mine just saved my career right there, because I didn't have any idea that in America, when the boys wear Speedos, does not look good. So I didn't know that. Even in New England, right, it's the worst. So that was the first hard lesson that I learned. Thank God that someone helped me. Otherwise, I will not be here talking to you 12 years later, I will be back in Brazil. Imagine how embarrassing it would be for my boss and all his friends seeing his just hired postdoc with some belly on to show, wearing Speedos. So, thank you so much for listening. And I hope you will be able to reach your students more effectively, and hopefully this video will be informative for you. Thank you very much. I also want to mention positive aspects of the Brazilian culture, things that I like, is the relaxing way of living with responsibility. So here in America, people are more uptight compared to the Brazilian folks. They are more risk-taker in terms of social aspects. So a friend, for instance, if you go to a party or someone's house, okay, and your friend has another friend, him or her, and you are just introduced to each other. So in Brazil, if that happened in 15 minutes, you are a friend of that person as well. You can contact them, call them, knock on their door, bring them some stuff later on in their house, as everything's fine. But in New England especially, it takes 15 months for them to become friends, to think about it, to become a friend, right? So the trust level is really different from a new friend in America, and especially New England and Brazil. So this is a positive thing in Brazil that I like from our culture. that we are a lot more relaxed and confident in their own skin, let's say, right? So we are not so concerned in terms of performance, but we actually try to pay attention of the quality of life. So it's similar than Europe, okay? In Italy, it's similar than that too. So in Brazil, a lot of people are Portuguese, Italians, uh, some from Spain, but there are a lot of people from Europe that were the founders of the country, right? So the main language is Portuguese, not Spanish, okay? So Brazil is really nice, I like it. And it's good to have some good things from Brazil and good things from America mixed up. That's what I try to live my life with, getting all the good from one culture to another. And also in my family, that happens. So my wife, she's American, and she has some Brazilian nuance in her lifestyle because she recognized there's something positive, okay? So there are many aspects of positive things in Brazilian culture and the nature aspect of it. So we really like to spend time personally, right? So we are not so concerned about what people think. So it's more warmth people, right, in general. And many different cultures. So for just one example, the largest Japanese community outside Japan lives in São Paulo City. There's a neighborhood there called Liberty, where the majority of, the Japanese community in Brazil lives there. So, and they mixed a lot. So the mixing of cultures in Brazil are races, okay? Black and white, Japanese and Indians, we all mixed a lot. So that created a lot more forgiving culture, let's say. So we have patience with each other because there are a lot of differences, and also the 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 respect for each one's culture also happened. So we have a lot of respect for Japanese culture and for the Italian culture, for the Spanish culture, for Poland culture, where they live in the south of the country. So I think it is nice to go to Brazil. Please visit there. It's a very nice country to live, I think. And nowadays the economy is really booming. So there are a lot of opportunities for very good business there and good education as well. So thank you very much again, and I hope this video clip has been informative to you.